Today, we're gonna talk about the top 10 most mysterious people of all time. If you have a detective-like inclination, passion for mystery, and love for tracking the unknown, then you've got in the right place to quench your thirst a bit, if it could ever be quenched. The following list includes the names of some people who puzzled us, and some whom we do not even know their names. Number 10. The Man with the Mask. In 1703, King Louis XIV ordered that a man be imprisoned in Bastille. The strange thing is that no one saw his face, as it was covered all the time with a mask. He himself did not allow others to see him or get closer except for the governor, the one he sought to meet. After his death, all of his possessions were burned, and still nobody was able to see his face.
An iron mask, an invention of the devil. An iron mask, a prison within a prison, is placed over the head of the rightful King Louis XIV and locked at the neck, his countenance concealed from all men. The true king is led away. In the quiet of the royal apartments, the true king's bed is occupied by the usurper. Trusted servitors have been spirited away. The twins' lackeys have replaced them. De Rochefort's plan is complete. Poor France. Ruled by a youth driven near to lunacy by a solitary childhood, by de Rochefort's lies, by his own poisoned dreams. Truly a madman. Suffering in human life is proportioned to human strength. When the young king, stupefied and crushed, found himself led a prisoner to his cell in the Chateau Sainte Marguerite in the south of France, he fancied at first that death is like sleep and has its dreams. He believed himself to be a spectator, a palpable phantom of his own suffering. A torture the more terrible since it might be eternal.
Number 9. Gil Perez. In Mexico, the year 1593 witnessed the advent of Gil Perez, a man who was known for his superpowers for seeing future things. He told the Mexicans stories about the places he visited, and they entailed that he can travel across countries in seconds. He told them about the death of the Philippine king. He died 2 months before the townspeople got the news. Number 8. Count Saint Germain. Saint Germain was a man who lived life fully. He was a musician, artist, scientist, and a mysterious human being. He went all over the world, traveling that he was called Polish, Spaniard, English, and finally a gentleman. However, nobody knew his origin and why he was called a gentleman. Though he married a wealthy woman, he did not settle. Saint Germain took her jewelry and fled to Constantinople, and since then, he was unheard of. Number 7. Dan Cooper, known as D.B. Cooper, was the kind of man who used his professional training for his own benefit. When he received a ransom of about $200,000, he used a parachute to jump from the plane. The police couldn't trace him at the time, but they used the money serial to detect his location. Number 6. Falken Le. Alchemist and author known publicly as Falken Le was a completely mysterious character. It was said that he was part of the group who put the basis for the nuclear weapons in Germany during the Second World War. The strangest of all stories recounted that while he was getting older, he continued to look younger day after day. The Alchemist. Number 5. Casper Hallsir. As a child, Casper Hallsir was kept in custody day and night, away from any light. He was not able to make any contacts with anybody either. It's thought that the boy was abducted because he was a relative to Prince Baden. He was then released by a man he did not know. Number 4. The Babushka Lady. In 1963, John Kennedy was assassinated. A well-known fact, right? The new piece of information is in the movie that continued to be aired on this incident. In it, a lady with a head cover resembling that of the Russian Babushka was standing not so far away from Kennedy's car holding a camera. When everybody else left, she continued to film the incident. Police did not manage to know who she was. Number 3. The Poe Toaster. Edgar Allan Poe was a famous and talented author who died a century ago. Every year on Poe's birthday, a mysterious visitor passes by and puts a bottle of wine and flowers over his tomb. It's not known whether they're a man or a woman, as they're always covering their face. Number 2. Chow Johnny was a well-known Jewish teacher who was teaching science, mathematics, and Talmud. Still, nobody knew anything about his origins. He left no books or papers, but his students called him the Master. Number 1. The Green Kids. In the 12th century, 2 children with green skin were seen in Woolpit. After they were able to speak English, the children said that they were from St. Martin's Land, where they saw no sun. There are some historical mysteries that may never be solved. Sometimes that's because the relevant excavated material has been lost or an archaeological site has been destroyed. Other times, it's because new evidence is unlikely to come forward or the surviving evidence is too vague to lead scholars to a consensus. The lack of answers only makes these enigmas more intriguing.